Hi everyone, this is Tracy Newman from the Navigator's Tarot, here to do a few readings for you. I'm just going to have a look and see what's going on in the general energies at the moment. Last couple of weeks has been quite discombobulating, a little bit hectic, chaotic. So we'll see where we are this week. We'll see what's going on in the general energies at the moment. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. So there is movement forward, I feel, like there's an end of a cycle as we're moving and shifting, upgrading in a way into a higher dimensional kind of bandwidth, I think, at this time. There's a greater sense of justice, balance coming in for a lot of us. Yeah, all about balance, really. Balancing out those energies of the past that have also, if you've actually had any sort of heartbreak in the past as well, these are the energies that are going to sort of like shift you out of that now as we move out of these old energies of stagnation into forward movement energies and more healing energies. And it would appear that the world is going through such immense change that everything is topsy-turvy, and seems like it's topsy-turvy, but it really isn't at the moment. It's literally changing for the better. And it's still, the chaotic energies are still going to come in, they're still going to sort of run rampant. But there is the world, and we do have the Wheel of Fortune, which is literally about closing out old cycles and beginning new ones. And we do have these unconditionally loving energies of the Ace of Cups as well. And with the Ace of Cups, it is represented as a dove. So it's sort of like a general feeling of peace that is starting to pervade the land as it pervades our innermost sanctuary, like our inner being. It will also begin, you'll also begin to see that on an outer level. So the more peaceful you become, the more we'll begin to see that on an outer level, in our outer world. And that's exactly where we're moving into, more peaceful, calm energies of healing and unconditional love. Non-judgment, unconditional love is what we're moving into now. These energies of unconditional love. What else do we have here? Just looking at this one. It's interesting because there is some sort of... Last week we did have a lot of energies of deception, and it's kind of like this week, it's kind of like, no, you've been caught out. Oh my God, I've been caught out. This is literally catching our own selves out in lying to ourselves or being deceitful to ourselves and therefore others. But we do have these beautiful movements forward because literally we've broken the spell. We've broken those deceptive energies. So we've broken them apart completely. We're moving out of that now and coming into a greater sense of peace and trust and love. And becoming our own authority, not trusting in the authority. And this is also interesting too, because we're beginning to see how members of our hierarchy are now actually being seen for what they are. And there is this illusion that we've all lived under for quite some time, but all that illusion is now beginning to break apart. We're beginning to see just how those that have been in charge have deceived us, and that's going to continue to be the case as the year goes on. Very interesting. Very interesting that it's coming up in the cards too, as self-deception, and also deception around us, and how we are actually exposing that deception, not only within ourselves but in our outer world. We're beginning to see that, and how it is literally you know, it's like being caught with your pants down. I don't know exactly, like I just feel like there are going to be more and more truths coming out, and just about how we have been deceived. And it's going to be, this is going to be a year-long exposure, like time of exposure for the whole world. But also, you know, as that begins, as we begin to shift and change within, then our world begins to shift and change. So, you know, any kind of lies or deception that we may find within our own lives, we will also see it in the outside. And when we expose it to ourselves, then we'll also begin to see a lot more exposure. It's like being truthful, completely truthful with the self, and also demanding that from our outer world as well. There will be no more lies and deception being allowed on this earth plane in the way that it has been over a millennia. That is now all being exposed. Oh, and here we have that, of course, that card of deception and trying to get away with things, you know. And, you know, there is this energy that will try and get away with whatever they can. But the powers that be that are on the earth at the moment are hell-bent on destroying any kind of illusion and deception that is out there. So wonderful things are coming, all of us. So with this truth-telling comes greater balance within. The chaotic world begins to sort of like shift, and as it begins to shift within, we come into a greater sense of peace. And that is also happening on an outer level as well. So as we begin to shift and change, then so too does the outer world. Just trying to see if there's anything else that... So no, just ending of cycles and beginning of new ones, but beginning more to come into a greater sense of peace and love within. And as that begins to happen within, we'll also begin to see it on an outer level. And in that great healing that is happening within all of us, and the awakening that is happening within each and every single one of us, of course, that will then lead to that sense of peace and love. That literally is all we are, and the illusion is separation. So coming into connection with all that is, and every single cell within each and every single one of our bodies is literally the access point to Source, Creator, God, and that is how we actually manage to stay in connection with all that is, by going within. Breathing techniques are very good, and coming into peace and stillness and calm. Getting out into nature, I always say, is the best thing we can do at this time. It's what I have been doing over the last couple of weeks. It is the best thing ever. And it has great healing properties. The trees, the water, just being outside is very important at this time. Yep. And coming into a greater sense of understanding, being the magician of our own lives too. So creating, as we begin to let go of a lot of the old energies, the stagnant energies, we come into a greater sense of connection with who we are and with all that is. And when we become that connected and in alignment with all that is, then we can create our whole entire world. Anyway, I hope that makes some sort of sense. I shall see you next week. Bye for now.